We are here today talking with Charles Evers, retired Mayor Charles Evers, also brother to Medgar Evers, assassinated in 1963. And what we'd like to talk to you today a little bit about, Mayor, is to find out where you were, what you were doing, what you were thinking, and what you had going on in 1963.
Well, actually, I was in Chicago. I'd been up there about 5 years. I'd been here in Medgar and I started the movement for equal rights. We came out there, we went to school at Alcorn. We came home from World War II, and I served in both World War II and the Korean conflict. And we had no rights. We couldn't vote, we couldn't eat in restaurants, we couldn't do anything anyone else did. And we said, what is this? Come on. We went and fought for democracy. Is this the kind of democracy we fought for? So we began to organize strike. And one old white man looked at me one day and said, let me tell you niggers something. He said, y'all don't vote. Nobody give a damn about y'all. It's the only people who vote we care about. And I thought, I said, sure enough? He said, yeah. And he's an old white man. He's an old fella who wasn't no race or hating nothing like that. He just told us the truth, and it was true. I didn't know who the mayor was. I didn't know who the sheriff was. We just didn't know because we didn't vote for them. And so he said, I tell y'all vote. Ain't nobody going to be studying about y'all. And I said, okay, then. His name was Frank Jones. Okay, Mr. Jones. And Medgar and I began to listen. And then Bilbo really encouraged us. Senator Bilbo was running for the Senate, I believe it was. He came down to the town, Decatur. And he was up on the steps, a little short guy, Bilbo was. And Medgar, our family was pretty well respected in the community in Decatur. My dad, I'm an undertaker by trade, me and my uncle. And my dad was a lumber contractor. He had all those stacking of lumber, so we were very well known in Decatur, a small town in Newton County. And at that time, we were Negroes and colored. We changed every 10 years. What the hell, I don't know what we are now. And we were Negroes then, so we are colored. So we began to start talking about colored folks voting and Negroes voting, and they thought it was some other from Mars somewhere. And they would not listen. So once we got Alcorn and started organizing our classmates, I was captain of the football team and of the debating team. So I began to tell them about what we got to do, and they began to listen, and we began to organize to register and vote. So by me being in the film business, I was had my funeral home in Philadelphia, Mississippi, and I had a radio show called Let's Talk. And Howard Cole was my dear friend, one of the few whites in Nishoba in Philadelphia that really believed it was right. And Howard was doing my show, so I said, Howard, I said, nobody gonna buy that damn stuff you're talking about. Evers, Funeral Home, and Thomas Bell. I said, nobody listen to that. He said, Charles, you do it. I said, I will. He took me into the studio, I sat down between two turntables. So now you do it. I said, what am I going to say? He said, do it. You know so much. I said, so what am I supposed to say? Say what you want to say. So I began to talk about my funeral home, what we do. He said, that's all right. Then he gave me, he said, there was a 1490 club, was a blues club. Why don't you do that? And I started on the 1490 club, which was blues. And I played blues every day, talking about Evers Funeral Home. I sponsored it, Evers Funeral Home and Thomas Bell Association. So when I got into it, I started talking about Negroes getting registered and voting. What did I do that for? Then the Klan and the Citizen Council, they got all upset with Howard and told, if you don't fight that nigger, we're going to burn your damn station down. And Howard said, burn it. So he had a right to stay there, and I'm going to leave him there. So when I heard all this from Howard, told me about Howard, I'm going to get out of it. So let it go. He said, no, Charles, just stay on there. He said, you have a right to do that. And I stayed there for about 6 months later, and it got so bad. At that time, I was married for a little while, not long. And my wife was going to a funeral. And some white lady took her and rammed into my hearse and just tore it up, knocked the body clean out of the hearse. And they sued me for $75,000. But back in those days, come on, that's $75,000, like $1 million today. I didn't have, so I took everything I had and sued them and collected it right away. And Medgar and I was still fighting. So Lope was, at that time, he was head of the ACP, and they were threatening him every day. So I told him, he said that we sat down with him, so Lope, I gotta get some money. I said, I'm down now to less than $25,000. I said, we gotta get some money. He said, Charles, what are you gonna do? I said, I'm going to Chicago. I'm gonna go out to Chicago and make some money. So he said, so we sat down and talked to each other and said, now, if something happened to one of us, other would carry on. I said, I promise you I'd do that. I figured what happened to me, and I took off Chicago. Got just outside Chicago, almost run out of gas. That's why I guess I've always known that all white people weren't bad. And I wobbled up to the station in my old car, and I got out, and I used to keep pennies in a little penny bank. So I got out and got the counter penny. The white man said, "Young man," I said, "Yes, sir." "Put it back in your pocket." I said, "What you mean?" I said, "I got to pay." He said, "You owe me a thing." He filled my tank of gas up. So you go on where you headed. I said, "Thank you, sir." He said, "You don't owe me nothing." He said, "I do that to many people who I know ain't got nothing." An old white man. I guess he was old. It must have been, I guess, in that time in his 50s. So I went on into Chicago and had no job, very little money, and I started staying wherever I could. And I finally got a job at the bus station. That was just right. And then I got a job at the train station where people coming in and out. And every time I come in, and as I was there, I was still. Then finally, a friend of me had heard of me and came to me and asked me, "Did I want a job teaching?" I said, "Teaching? I don't know about teaching." And said, "Well, you want you to teach and coach it at Keller School out in Robbins." I said, "Let me think about it." He said, "Charles, you got a job? You ain't got no job and nowhere to stay. What do you mean think?" I said, "Okay, Mr. Lemon, I take the job." He gave me that job. Well, I kept my job, my night job at the bus station. But in the meantime, I used to sort of walk around at night, and I began to, they come in, they wanted whiskey. Well, I'd been a bootlegger all my life. So I thought, oh, this ought to be a good place to start selling this bootleg whiskey. So I started back to my bootleg business at night. And I started selling whiskey, different one. Then I'd always see white men from the South come in on a train, and, well, I reckon I found a girl. And I knew that white men liked black women, Negro women within. So I went out on 63rd Street and saw these prostitute girls walking around selling themselves $5, whatever they can get. I think it was 5 and 2, 5 for them and 2 for the room bill. That's the way it was. And so I had, by that time I'd rented a building, and I told the girl, what one guy say, "You don't work for me?" "What do you mean work for you? You got $5?" I said, "Well, I don't mean that. I said, I'll pay you." She said, "What do you mean?" I said, "You out here selling yourself. I'm going to pay you $100 a week to work for me." She jumped. "I know you were lying." I said, "Yes, so we'll try me." So she started my little salary getting at the bus station. Myself getting at the radio station. I began to put together and save it. And my little bootleg man. And I said, "Get me two more girls now." And she got me 2 or 3 girls. And I gave them an apartment in my apartment, one of the rooms. That's how I started. And I started doing that, and I did very well. And and every time I was so low down, So, because in order to get even with them old Southern white men, I had I sent them out to my house. He didn't know it. I had the cab driver at that time, mostly Negro cab driver. They knew where to carry them. I made that connection. So they'd carry them out to my house of enjoyment. And they would carry them out there, and the girls knew I said, "Leave them with nothing. Don't let them leave with nothing." I said, "Make sure." So what they had to do was pay up front at the office, pick up the girl they wanted and take her upstairs. She'd take whatever. My rule was no rough sex. I said, "I ain't too white folks starting no rough sex on my girls." So that worked good. And then when they leave, I knew Southern white men couldn't come back home and say, "Them niggas took my water." They couldn't do that because they shouldn't have had no business there. So the girl would rob them quite a bit and throw the water away. That kind of thing, and it worked good for me. And then I was getting in the streets. I got bigger and bigger in the streets in the world. Then I organized I started working for my friend Chester Beatty. Chester was head of the numbers racket. And a lot of money in numbers. I said, "Oh, that's why I don't gamble no more now." And I said, he said, "Charles, you come and work for me." I said, "I don't know, come on, Chester." I don't know. He's from Mississippi too. I said, "I don't want to work." I said, "I don't want to work for nobody." And my dad told me, "Boy, if you got to work for yourself." So he said, "Well, I'll give you a route." He gave me a route to pick up numbers, drop policy, pick up money. So I started doing that. And I learned it very well. And then I organized my own national route in competition to my friend Chester. And we did well at that. And so I did on until June. Actually, I always had a lot of security guys around because I was always being threatened. The mafia wanted to put jukebox in. I had my own jukebox. You couldn't put no jukebox in no Negro place. What you talking about, Negro cafe? I can't put none in a white cafe. Yet I supposed to. I said, you can't put none in mine either. So anyway, I had to organize my security folk because they were going to bust them up. And we got them organized, and Rudy Shield is gone now. All of my friends are gone but me. And he became my chief security man. And we began to operate jukebox business and prostitution and numbers record. I was still teaching school, can you believe that? I was still teaching school at Robin, coaching every day. They never knew it. And the night when I came in from my club, I had a club in Robbins in Argo, Illinois. And around my apartment, there's all kind of cars. What the hell is going on here? And I went upstairs. They said, come on in, Charles. I went upstairs. I said, what's wrong? He said, your wife's better go back and see. I went back there. Now, what said, sit down. I said, what's going on? She said, they shot Medgar. Oh, hell, they can't kill Evers. We don't die today either. She said, Charles, he's dead. And then, after a while, you know what happened? President Kennedy was killed. And then Bobby called me, and everybody else, all of them called me about it, and they were all upset. And he and I became just like brothers. And I went up there with Bobby, and I stayed with him. And when they buried President Kennedy, he and I became close. We've been close. I talked to him yesterday, his son yesterday, I mean. They called me off every month or so. And we became very close. We began to work toward integration and complete desegregation of the public school. My personal reason for it, because I think I said this to many people, I don't deny it, I was in love with a young Filipino girl. And we were in school together at the University of Manila. And because she was a Filipino girl and white, I guess, she anything other than a Negro then was white, so no matter what. I knew I couldn't marry her and bring her home. And because of that, I began to fight racism. That's another reason why I fought racism and bigotry. And after Medgar was killed and Bobby and John was killed, we both just went wild. And I had Bobby all the way. Bobby decided, after he decided to run for the Senate in New York, I said, Bobby, don't run. He said, Charles, let me tell you something now. The time to leave anything when everybody's screaming for you to stay. He said, because the same folks scream for you to stay, be the first to scream you down if you stay too long. He said, remember, that's where I'm going. He said, well, will you support me? I said, you know damn well, whatever you do, I'm going to support you. So we went to New York, started running. Senator Keating at that time was a Republican, a liberal Republican. The NAACP had endorsed him. But they made a mistake and invited me to come up for the state convention and be the guest speaker from Mississippi. Charles Evers, Medgar Ever's brother. And the place was just packed. And they wouldn't invite Bobby. I said, why don't you invite Steve? He can't. We're not supporting the candidates. That was raw within that group, the NAACP. So I called Bobby and said, Bobby, get into Caroline and meet me in Buffalo. That's what the convention was. I said, what I want you to get there, just, I'll be waiting for you. And when he got there, he said, okay, Charles, no, just come. When he came on, they flew up to Buffalo, and I met him in the hall. People didn't know he was coming. I was like, go into their bathroom and stay in the bathroom and stay near where you can hear what they're talking about. And just before I go up, you come up front, to the front, the entrance. See, like this entrance, where the feet are all down here, see. They didn't know he was there. So again, they talked about Keating, Senator Keating, and Senator Keating that. And then they introduced me to be the guest speaker. And I got the first thing I said, Senator Keating, congratulations, we're going to beat you. Just like that. And Roy and them raised up, I said, we're going to beat you. I said, my friend and the next senator, will you come on down, Bobby? And good God Almighty, the whole house went crazy. Bobby can walk right, he's arrogant, he walked right down the aisle. And I said, instead of me speaking, y'all, I'm going to let Bobby take my place. Oh, right, you fired. I said, take that, please. I'll tell you what to do. I didn't go to the bathroom. And Bobby got me and tore him down. And Bobby came from that on. He always gave me credit. You elected me. I said, no, I didn't. And you elected yourself. And so we became brothers. And then I was with him all the time. In Indiana, when Martin was killed, he and I went to the Martin's funeral. Am I talking too long?
No, are you kidding?
Yeah. Martin and I went to, Bobby and Ethel and Teddy went to the funeral in Atlanta, Martin's funeral. And Bobby hated Lyndon Johnson. So at the time, we were sitting there waiting on them. In comes the president. I'm going to get, he said, sit down. I told him, that's the president. Sit down. Sit down, Ethel. Snatched Ethel down his wife. Sit down. And Teddy sit down too. I sit down too. We all sit down. Everybody standing but us. We were up front on the second seat. So I get look at they crazy. So then came on in and went up, and then everybody sat back down. But then he kept helping to get bills to the Girls' Right to Vote. So I went to I led a march here in Jackson, and one of the more mean rednecks back in those days knocked me down I was on the steps of the courthouse. He knocked me down, and I fell to the ground, to the floor, to the street. And I got up. I said, "We're gonna get you." What did you say? I said, "We're gonna baptize all of my gang around me and protect me." So I got on the phone. The next thing called Bobby. I said, "Bobby, one of your so-called marshals let these someone say what I said, hit me and knock me down." I said, "We ain't got a single Negro marshal." What? I said, "You know we don't have no marshal now." He said, "Send me a name." Right away, I called a friend of mine who was teaching school here in Jackson. I said, "Would you like to be a U.S. Marshal?" He didn't know what the hell a marshal was. I said, "Yeah, I guess so." So I called Bob. I got a name. I sent him up there, and Bob hired right away. He became the first Negro Marshal in Mississippi. And then things were getting better and better and better and better for all of us. It's a long story about the relationship of me and the Kennedys, in particular Bobby. And then when he decided to run for president, I said, "Bobby, please don't run. You said the same damn thing when you got to run for the Senate." He said, "I'm going to run." I said, "Bobby, don't run." So he's going to run anyway. So, "Will you be with me?" I said, "You know, I'll be with you if you run." So I was proud to be with him. The ACP fired me again. It's not that I care. So I started campaigning for him, and we were up and then it went all over Indiana. And the night Martin was killed, that's where we were. We were in Gary and somewhere in Indiana. And the whole town went crazy. And Martin and Bobby and I were down, just black Negroes everywhere. And he's calmed them down. Just remember, my brother was killed. And now this it's not going to be the way. The way to do is get out and vote and get in good people. And then, you got to get active. Just talk to the Negro like they should have been talked to. That calmed them down. So we won that election and on to California. I ain't even talk about it. I get really emotional when I do that. And we were campaigning, and the time come for election. All of us was out there, and we had the hotel. At the hotel that night of the election, when he announced he'd won California primary, that they went to go, "Come on, y'all want me to go down?" I said, "No, y'all, I'm staying watching on TV." He said, "No, come on." I said, "No, I'm not coming down." So when I walked out, something about him, he walked out that door, I looked at him. I could tell he wanted me to come. I said, "What the hell I go on later?" So when he got up, I went on downstairs, and I'd always stand sort of in front of him where he knew I was there. And when he started speaking, there's something in his tone was a little different for some reason. But he's all apologizing and saying, "We're going to leave here and on to Chicago." Where there must be 100,000 people in there, and balloons were everywhere. So when he did that, he turned, and I started going stand. I heard pop, pop. Well, I thought it was balloons. They screamed, "Oh, they shot the senator." I broke up on the stage, and there he was. I put my holding like Bobby, Bobby, Bobby. And Roosevelt Greer was holding Ethel, and they held him, and that's it. And they carried him, and we finally got the ambulance there. Came to the hospital. I went to the hospital with him. I stayed there till he died. Whew. I should have done that. Okay, I'm sorry.
Would you like to stop for a few minutes?
Okay. Then the next day after we got prepared to go home, we then bombed and put him in a casket. And we put him on a plane. I rode stayed in the baggage room with him all the way up to New York. Up to Washington, wherever we went. I think it's New York. And we landed there. Then we put him in there, carried him someplace, and then we got ready to go home. I went with them there, and they asked me, "Well, I can't go to the funeral. I couldn't go to Arlington." And that was the last time. I never got over it. Because three of my best friends, my brother, Bobby, and John, gone. Only for ignorance. Because people hated the color of another man's skin, a woman's skin. It's so wrong to be like that. And I promised myself I would never hate, no matter what. I can't know. I was a mayor for 16 years, chancellor clerk for 4, and supervisor for 4. Can't no white person say the time I was in charge of Jefferson County, they ever mistreated, not one time. I made sure I had laws that went to equal to everybody. I allowed nobody to mistreat white people. I hired as many white people to work for me, but something about white people y'all like to work for us. I don't know what it is back in those days, but no, I'm sorry. back in those days, it was hard to hire a white person, but few of them still worked for me. And we began to work together. And I'm a total integrationist. I hate racism any kind of way. And that's why I'm so hard on black folks now for becoming, we got just as many more now black haters than there were whites because they're so violent against not only in other race, but their own people. In this city alone, 64 blacks were killed last year by blacks. And no one said too much about it. 3 little renegade whites ran over a black man here, up the street here, and killed him, and the whole world came. CNN, NBC, ABC. I said, what about the 64 blacks that were killed? You can hear hush. So what I'm saying is, and murder is murder. And my feeling about murder is, I hate murder with a passion. Because if you take a person's life, what rights do you have? And now, the ACL used to call me when I was the mayor. If you don't come around, you do, I'll lock you up. You don't come down to my town, run this town. I'm doing what's right. I was the judge also for the town. And a lot of times I had some complaints to them about what I was doing, how I was treating them, because they committed a crime. I don't feel that criminals have any freedom because you took away somebody's freedom, particularly murderers. I just don't. And in that town, if you struck a woman and beat up on women, I dared them in the mind of citizens for their wife to come to me, but you hit them. I put them on the streets, and for at least 30 days, no pay, and the money we would pay them, we'd pay it to their wives. And kids, that's why I don't understand today what's wrong with school. All of my police officers were truant officers. I mean, every one of them. Every morning you go to the school and get the absentee list and bring it to me. I was the judge and the mayor. And I was sitting to get the mother and whoever the parents were. Why this child not in school? Well, he did this. I said, you take him out there, guard, put him on the garbage truck. He pick up garbage all day long before all his friends. And mother and dad will fine you $30 a piece for not sending your child in school. I did it for 16 years. I guess why I'm not the mayor anymore. And that's why I said now it's so, everything is so called liberal and rights. What rights do I have if I kid you? What about your parents, your husband, and your sisters and things like that sort? And now, here they come talking about somebody's rights. My thing of it is, and I asked the governor, I'm going to ask him again, if the legislature would pass a bill in this state that if you found guilty of murder by your own peers within 90 days, you'll be, if you're going to have an appeal, have your appeal and you'll be put to death. Remember, I got 3 friends gone. A brother, 2 their friends. And 4 from Martin and I was every day together almost. So come on. So when are we going to stop being so democratic and so worthy and everything is so right? It got to do with black, white, or rich or poor. Yes, if you commit the crime, you pay the fine.